Yo, 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 welcome to Living for a Living. I don't know what episode this is. I've taken a month off. We're going to get right into it, but before we do, I got to let you know Black Friday sales, Cyber Monday sales on the website, 15% off all purchases, free shipping on all purchases. Visit the site, www.livingforaliving.live. Man, there's some dope shit on there. And 15% off, I think that's pretty good. Some things I'm probably going to lose money on by that amount. So check it out, and let's get into the episode.
Living for a living, baby. How you doing?
Oh my goodness. Well, we've taken a break, and the van almost just broke itself. Literally about to step inside here, shut the door, the sliding door, which doesn't work super well, and it literally came off the hinges. I don't have a picture because I was too worried about fixing it. Someone's walking by as the door is fucking completely off. And I thought, well, fuck, what do I do if I can't fix this? I don't know how I can drive because it was still like semi-attached. I wouldn't be able to drive. I have an appointment tomorrow to get the emergency brake fixed, which is out of commission right now. Luckily, I've done a lot of Google research now, and for all my manual car owners, you're supposed to leave it in gear when you park, no matter what. And they say, like, the gear is actually really the parking brake, and then the emergency brake, or parking brake, some people call it, is really the emergency brake if the gear would then give out. And I always thought it was like the other way around. And I can tell you it's true because I've parked on a couple of slopes with no emergency brake. So in case of an emergency, there would have been a fucking emergency. Oh, man. But yeah, it's been about a month since I did the last one. I just haven't, I don't know. I've been in a weird little funk on this trip, I will admit. Kind of being alone, doing my thing, traveling around, and then also the combination of like not having anywhere to steadily charge my stuff. I highly, highly undervalued the ability to charge things. When I left, I thought, I can just, stop into this store and charge for an hour here and there and yada, 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 which is kind of true. But then when you need to use your phone as the GPS at times, that wastes a lot of battery, or uses a lot of battery, I should say. And then the computer, so it's been a struggle, but I think I've got a spot now figured out, I think, for Lisbon. That'll kind of be my home base here in Lisbon. Well, actually I have two. One's a little more central and actually like kind of crazily good location in Belem, right next to the water. And if I can park close enough to this cafe, I just went and got a coffee before I recorded this so I could get their Wi-Fi. And I'm on like one bar right now and it doesn't really work, but if I can maneuver and park a little bit closer, then I'll also have Wi-Fi then from the van. I realized, man, I have on the note of where to charge things and where to connect to Wi-Fi, yada yada. I've been in way too many fucking McDonald's across Europe, and I'm so tired of McDonald's, but they don't really bother you. But today, the McDonald's in Europe don't open until 11 a.m., most of them, which makes no sense to me. Because if you're American, you got to get to McDonald's before 10:30 in order to get the breakfast menu. That's the whole point. But out here, it's like, there's no point to getting there early. And so this morning, I was going to go to a McDonald's. Phone was completely dead. it was closed. So, and I looked and I saw, oh, there's a Starbucks nearby. And Starbucks is a much better place to do work and be on the computer and charge things and more comfortable seats. And I don't know why I hadn't thought of that. And then the other thing that I told myself before I left this on this trip was go to IKEA. Because one, the food is cheap as fuck and pretty good. And two, like, they want you to be there. So that'll be as I move forward. But now I also, yesterday or the day before, I went and bought a little like solar panel that can charge into external batteries. So now I have that set up. So at least I'm like, I should be good. I think I haven't fully tested like if I leave it out all day, if it charges both external batteries at the same time. Might need to buy an extra external battery. I don't know. This is that's like the biggest thing. It's a learn as you go process. And I am learning as I go. That is for sure. That's no doubt. It's been funny to, I think, been in the car now a little over a month. And when I left, I thought, oh, I got this planned out so perfect. My cooler, the storage here, the storage on this side of the bed. Oh, this little fold-out table, cooking. All this shit's going to be so nice and easy. And I've quickly learned, like, I really don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And so I have this, like, little setup right here, which is nice. It's cool to have this little lunch picnic area. But I spend most of my time now sitting on the cooler, which is right next door to it. Or right next, like, the cooler's right here to my right. I don't even know if I'll post this on YouTube. I'm pointing on to the camera. Because, again, with the Wi-Fi situation, posting an hour video, I might have to be in Starbucks for literally the whole fucking day. So I don't know if that'll happen. So if not, my Spotify people, what's up? Henny, I know you've been asking for the 2-hour long one. I don't know if it'll be that long. It says I got 101 minutes here on the camera. I don't have too much of a plan. I'm going to just kind of free flow. Again, that's been the theme of this trip, is to not have a plan. But then I kind of ran into an issue, like if I wanted to meet with people that I know, is then you have to plan the meeting. And when everyone else has a life and work and this and kids and whatever, wife and all the other stuff, it can be a little difficult to plan. And so then I end up either wasting time to wait around for somebody, or then I'm like, fuck it, I don't see somebody. Or so if I didn't get you on this trip, I'm sorry, but I was in just kind of a weird mindset at a certain point in the middle of it where I was like, well, I also just wanted to get to Portugal. It was starting to get cold at nights. I don't know what I talked about on last episode. Let's see. Last episode I was in, I hadn't even gotten to Gdansk yet. Yeah, it was like the day before that. So, man, trying to think back, reflect. It's going to be a story episode. But the first thing that I just noticed, I guess maybe I should go in reverse chronological order, since maybe that's my memory serves me better. But, yeah, the door. For a second there, I thought I was fucked with the sliding door. And so now I don't know if I'm going to use the sliding door. I can. I just got to be gentle and maybe not do it from the inside. I don't know. I put a little bit of WD-40 on the hinge that came undone. Oh, this one girl was walking by and just like, I looked at her, I like laughed, I don't know what else I can do but laugh. And she didn't give me much response. Seems to be, I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. I don't want to blame anything or what. But it just seems like people are just so much more robotic nowadays. And maybe, I don't know if like being in the van and being like this weird foreign looking guy in a weird old car affects other people's perception of me. But I don't even know if that's the case. I'm probably overthinking it. I just notice like on the streets, especially here in Portugal, but also like other places I've been, but really a lot here. Just a lot of like robotronic people just going, like NPC, non-playable characters who are just like, I want to be altruistic and think of them as like the same as me. And maybe that's how I appear to other people. I don't know. But you just see some people just walking through, just like eyes glazed over. The mask wearing in Portugal is absolutely insane. I was up in Nazaré, which is like famous for the big waves, like a week ago. And we're out on like cliffs, windy, in nature, social distance to the max, and there's just people out there with a mask on. And they're probably vaccinated too, because Portugal also has like the highest vaccination rate in Europe. I think it's close to 90%. They have some of the lowest cases, lowest death numbers, all those things. It's like one of the few places where vaccination is like correlating with less cases and stuff, because I know in Los Angeles, Israel, I guess I'm probably picking and choosing specific ones. I'm sure there's other ones besides Portugal. But I've heard that, and again, this is all just what I hear, so correct me if I'm wrong. But I hear like Israel's getting ready to implement a fourth shot. And we all knew, but anybody who could see the writing on the wall, if you listen to me, then you probably share some similar ideas that I do regards to what's going on. And you just knew it wasn't going to stop with two. It's just the logic. I hate that I started with this. I know, I'm sorry. It's just something that comes across, and it's just so weird to me because it seems to me like some people, I had dinner with a friend the other night that like we talked just about life and what we're going through and different things and past relationships and all these different things that were just like on the same page with everything. Like really, I would say he gets it. And then somehow, of course, you get on the topic. It's the hardest thing about all this shit is it's like almost impossible to not talk about it. It's like this thing that's just in everybody's mind, including myself. And it's hard to have a conversation, especially with a person you haven't seen in a while or a stranger, an extended conversation where you don't end up talking about it. And then, I don't know, energetically speaking, that just has to continually fuel the fire. But somehow it came up, and talking about his company's policies and this and a dinner and that, and just like, don't know the exact, but I forget the exact wording, but it was just like, if you're dumb enough to not get vaccinated or something, then that's your choice, but you should, it's just like this weird thing. I don't know. And I just let him talk, because, man, if there's one thing I'm trying to do now is I'm not trying to change anybody's mind on anything, because that is a waste of energy. People have their minds made up, including myself. I'd like to stay informed and be open to changing my mind if it, if what I believe the facts present themselves as. But I think there's a lot of people that just, they don't even want that. And that's okay. That's fine. But so I'm going to stop trying. I realized, I was like today and the other day I was like scrolling back, looking through my Instagram. And because I've also, this whole, for whatever reason, maybe because I feel a little bit in like a funk and I can't exactly pinpoint what it is, to be honest. When I find out, I'll let you know. But I was looking back at old Instagram stuff, and I used to fucking post a diary for a comment or a caption. And now I really don't do that anymore. But I can also remember, like, back then, I really thought, like, I could change somebody and I could really affect someone. And maybe I'm being pessimistic or negative or something right now and thinking, like, I can't. And so it's like, I don't even... I also think I'm finding some kind of solitude or comfort in people not knowing everything about me or about what I'm thinking. I used to be like super open with all that, and I think it's like good to a certain degree. But I've also now been kind of doing this thing where, like, all right, let me get a little silent and kind of find out, like, who really gives a fuck. I guess I'm not testing anybody specifically or anything. It's just an experiment I'm doing in my own mind. And maybe part of the reason I'm in a little funk is, like, for the most part, I feel like people don't give a fuck. And I'm not trying to be a victim here or, like, woe is me or anything, because that makes sense, because ultimately that's kind of what I believe. I've had some other discussions with people about what, of course, the vaccine and stuff, and I say, oh yeah, I'm not. And it's like, well, for the greater good, and you got to do it for the greater good. And my quote is, man, the greater good does not give a fuck about me. I don't, and so the what I'm saying, I guess it all makes sense. You're being my psychologist right now, psychiatrist, that it doesn't seem, it's just like, so everything's so paradoxical and like ironic, it seems nowadays, that it's, oh, we have to do it for our neighbor, we have to help our neighbor out and get the vaccine for somebody else and for this person and that person. Meanwhile, people don't fucking talk to their neighbors. People don't like their neighbors, but you need to do it for them. And I saw a funny tweet, it was a serious tweet, but it was funny to me, that in Ireland, I guess they're imposing curfews now, even though 93% of people are vaccinated there. And they've changed the wording of it, is it's like, well, if you won't do it for your other human, do it for yourself. They're like trying to appeal to the quote unquote selfish person who doesn't want to get it. And it's just funny how the goalposts and everything continually change. Yeah, there's a whole drama with Aaron Rodgers. Man, yeah, it's been a while since I fucking got on here and talked, huh? Boy. But that's not what I want to talk about, this whole thing. It's just, it has been interesting to see, driving through, I think 9 countries. Let's see. Finland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Czech Republic, Germany, France, Spain, and now Portugal. So yeah, 10 countries. And just seeing the different rules in the different places. Some do Vax Pass, some, and masks are, super strict. Some don't give a fuck. Like Poland did not give a fuck about anything. And I ended up meeting this couple from Denmark, that was these 2 girls that were a couple, lesbians, that's what they're called. And, well, I guess I'll tell the story. Well, I guess, let's see. Yeah, so I was in Spain in this parking lot, and I woke up, and like when I had gotten home the night before, I had seen this really cool old Mercedes van next to me, like kind of a bus like me. And I was like, damn, that's sick. And I literally took a picture of it that night. And so then the next morning I get out and there's like a dog outside of it and a cute girl like is like walking the dog or doing something outside. And, oh, hey, what's up? And the thing with van life is it's a lot of, I've noticed so far, it's a lot of couples or like two people together. It's not a ton of single people, at least that I've met or ran into. And so immediately I see the one girl and I think, like I wonder what the guy looks like, you know, because I just assume that it's a couple. And so I go back in my van and do a little I don't know, start making coffee, and then I have to go throw something away. I don't know. I'm probably just going outside to try and see her again. And you hear someone else talking from the van, and it's another girl's voice. And like I don't know how it came up, but she kind of poked. She was, oh, you want some coffee? I was like, oh, I'm making my own coffee, but I'll come drink it with you guys if you don't mind. Okay, cool. I go back to my van to get my coffee. I'm like, another hot girl. It's like, well, you know, like how your mind plays things. They're probably just friends. You know, that's all. That's all they are. It's what your mind wants to believe. And so then go in there, and they had one of the coolest vans I've been in. They had a little wood stove in the van with like a chimney going out of the van. And so they could like warm the van up for one and then cook or boil water and cook coffee and cook anything on the stove also. And we get in there, we start talking and come to find out they had shipped their van. They were like true fucking van lifers. They had shipped their van to Canada and then drove from Canada to like, I don't know, Argentina or at least Guatemala, like all through Mexico. And I was like, damn. I was like, they must be really good friends. You know, and then by this point I'm like, yeah, they're probably more than friends. You know, they have 2 dogs. I'm like, yeah, maybe that's that's not exactly. No, they're probably. And so now it's a different, but it was like so pleasant to talk to them. I forget what my initial point. Oh yeah, my whole point of Poland doesn't give a fuck. And so we're talking. I said all the different places they were from. Netherlands. There's a lot of Danish and a lot of Dutch people in the van life community, I've noticed. And I say, yeah, like we're talking about different COVID stuff. And I say, yeah, Poland doesn't give a fuck. And they're like, well, yeah, they don't give a fuck about a lot of things, like equal rights. I was like, oh yeah, I guess that's true. But again, it's like, you know, I lived in Poland for 2 years, and I know and have gay Polish friends from when I lived there. And I mean, maybe the headlines get those kind of things, and you see a racist or a homophobic rally. You know, my buddy sent me a clip from Poland that was like people burning the Torah or like in like saying death to Jew, you know, like death to Jews in a group of like 100 or something. And like I'm not saying that's fake, but I went back, I said, bro, for the most part, like I think Poland's pretty chill. You know, I think before I've said, you know, I've had a teammate in Poland that was like outwardly racist, but he was just dumb and he was ignorant. And I like confronted him on it. I was like, "What? You've had black teammates that you have friends with and you have pictures with on Facebook." He's like, "Well, yeah, I like them." He's like, just, it's the ones I don't know I don't like. I'm like, well, that's the, most ignorant thing I've ever fucking heard. But it's because of the TV and the media and the newspapers and making it be a certain way. And so same kind of thing, like, I'm not excusing like racism or homophobia or anything like that, but it's like someone that like that couple that I don't think they'd ever been there. I was like, well, I think if you guys went, you'd be like definitely surprised on, at least in my experiences, what I've seen as tolerance, and compared with probably some other places like in Latin America, that they were telling me about firsthand. And so, yeah, but meeting them was cool. They had 2 cute dogs. And then while we were having coffee, this Taiwanese girl like kind of poked her head in the van and was like, hi. We're like, hey. And she only had her bike. And she had shipped her bike from like Taiwan to Paris and was biking around Europe. And I mean a bicycle. And so she ended up having coffee with us for a little bit. And that was a trip because, I think in most circles and most conversations that I have, I'm considered the one that's a little out there. And people are like, well, how would you, what if the car breaks down and what if this and how can you do that? And don't you, all these questions about like the lifestyle and ideas behind it. And that was refreshing because with her, I felt like the normal one. And that doesn't happen too often with me. And I'm just thinking to myself, this girl is crazy. Biking around Europe, like being from Asia, and like, yeah, sometimes I just sleep in a tent, or there's this app that you can get a warm shower and sometimes stay at somebody's house. And I was like, Jesus Christ. And speaking of warm showers, that's another thing that's become quite the commodity. And I knew it would, and I was kind of preparing myself before I left that I probably wasn't showering incredibly regularly my last like month in Finland. I don't know if it was out of laziness or I don't know what. But yeah, the warm shower thing is the couple times I was gonna go shower at like a beach, because there's like little showers at beaches. It was so fucking windy and got so cold as soon as I like grabbed the towel and was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And so I still have yet to have an outdoor shower. I think my last shower now, today is Monday. I think my last shower was, I don't know, Thursday or Friday. So like the weekend. Yeah, maybe Thursday. I don't know. Luckily, I do have friends around here that if I do, when it really comes to it, I can do it, and I can get one. But yesterday, the other van life learning experience is doing dishes. I don't have running water in the van, and from everything I'd heard and read and stuff on the internet and YouTube, a lot of people said like running water was something that they could have done without pretty easily. So I said, okay, well, then I agree. I don't know what I'm agreeing to, but I agree. And I will, it's not super important, but then for doing dishes, like, I guess I just haven't gotten my system down pat yet. And so I have 2 places now I've stayed in Lisbon overnight. Here down by the water, and then up kind of in the forest at this like trailhead parking lot. And down here is like more central, and there's like more people around, and it's by the water, which is nice. But then up there it's like super quiet and nobody's really around. And then down here there's no like real services, and up there's like a bathroom and like a water fountain. And so I was doing, although maybe I gotta look in the bath. I haven't even looked in the bathroom yet. But I was doing my dishes in a water fountain. And the water fountain also had like a little spout and a bowl for a dog bowl for water. And I learned pretty quickly that if the water pressure for the dog bowl was fucking way harder than the water fountain. So I'm literally doing dishes in a dog bowl spout. And it started raining so fucking hard. Like crazy. Some of the biggest raindrops I've ever seen in my life. Not exaggerating. And at first it like started and I'm thinking, well, maybe I should, go in. And then I start to get wet. I'm like, well, I also haven't showered in a while, so this moisture doesn't feel so bad. At least getting some of that surface dirt off of me. So I finished up my dishes and went back to the van. And something I didn't think about was then I'd need my clothes to dry, which is taking forever. I've had this sweatshirt hanging outside for like 2 days now. But that was a funny moment where I don't know. I think I've just been in my mind a lot lately, or I know I have been, and constantly, I guess it's a little bit of the like fear of the unknown and being uncertain, which I definitely needed because, like Finland, life is good there and super comfortable and relatively easy. Obviously, yeah, the winter is pretty terrible, but in terms of services and housing and life working in a manner that's simple, it's great. And so I realized as I've been moving around, especially since I got back here to Portugal, was like I was becoming a little comfortable and a little Finnish in certain ways. They say in Finland there's no such thing as an awkward silence because that's just kind of the norm. And I notice it so much, like when I'm meeting new people or whatever, or if I don't have anything to say, I'm cool with just sitting there. Just, yeah, okay. And I can feel them then wanting to get some noise in the air. And it's just ironic to me. And then, like, the thing I've missed most about Portugal since returning, and something I kind of just forgot, well, a couple things. But the first is just strangers smiling and laughing with each other and saying hello to you on the street. I just, it might seem so small and minute, but fuck, I missed that, man. One of my first nights, I've gotten lucky in this trip. Like, this trip has been interesting, like I said, because it's been eye-opening. It's kind of like I felt like some of the people that I was like excited to see. Well, I don't know how to exactly put this. Or like some of the people that I felt like I could count on in a way of like let me down. But then on the flip side is some people, like random people, have like stepped up and been there. And so one of them was this guy Nunu, who up north, we've only really played against each other in football, and we've talked a little business and other stuff with football throughout the years. And I was getting close to where he lived, or where I thought he lived, and my brakes were struggling. It was the very beginning of the emergency braking. And I messaged him. I said, "Hey man, do you know a good mechanic?" "Oh yeah, just come on by and we'll go there together. And have you ate lunch?" I said, "No, not yet." "Okay, well yeah, just come by. We'll go get lunch." So I think like we're just gonna go out to a restaurant or whatever. He said, "Yeah, no, here, come on up. Here, And we go up and walk in the door, and it's his mom, his dad, his sister, brother-in-law, and have a nice old Portuguese family lunch, which was nice. And then we go to the mechanic, and I told the mechanic, I said, there's some noise being made. They checked the brakes. They said, no, the brakes are good. They're fine. It could be the brake fluid. So I said, okay, let's change it. They said, it's going to be $20. I said, all right, let's change that. I don't even know if they fucking changed it. And then as soon as I got done with, and so then while we waited for them to do that, Nuno was like, all right, we go back to my place. We get there. He's like, hey, I got an extra bedroom if you want to stick around for a few days. And I was like, I don't really know, and I was like, well, all right, cool. Yeah, for sure. I'd like to chill for a little while. He ends up living like a block away from the beach in a nice little chill area, easy parking. So, like, that was awesome. And that was great. And I'm super thankful for that. But it was just like, that's not, when I left Finland, that was like not anything I had expected to happen. I'm going to get some juice. Yeah. I don't know. I think honestly, I just don't have a lot of faith in people right now, to be 100% honest. And partially because of, things I see and what's going on, and just seeing some people that I, really, really respect and value their opinion and think incredibly highly of, being intelligent and centered and free thinking and all these things. It's been just sad to see how many people have like bought into the propaganda and bought into what's going on, and like not only bought into it, but are like paying full price for a seat at the table of manipulation. And so that, I guess in a way, I don't have a lot of hope. And not necessarily for it's not for myself, it's just for the world moving forward. And hope is like the most powerful fucking thing there is. And having no hope is super fucking dangerous. I know this. There's that experiment with the rats where they put rats in water and like let them drown, and then after about 7 to 8 minutes, most of them drown. So right as they're about to drown, they take them out of the water and then put them back in, let them like recover, and then they put them back in the water, and you'd think, okay, they'd drown again in 7 or 8 minutes, right? No. The rats then would swim for another like 2 hours, because in their mind, they thought someone was going to save them. They had hope. And so like right now, man, I hate to say it, but it's fucking what I'm thinking, is I just don't have a lot of fucking hope. Portugal is a great country. If you listen, I always talk very highly of my time here in Portugal, and it was very great. But man, the percentage of robots here seem to be incredibly high. And that's something I've noticed since, obviously I haven't gone through every country and seen everyone and all that shit, but it seems that there's a very big correlation with countries that have had a past or recent history of like dictatorship or authoritarian rule, and then the way that they respond to the rules that are set in place, whether it be lockdowns or vax mandates or masks or anything. And it's not like direct correlation, like Poland. Well, I don't know. Poland's actually been free for a long time now that I think about it. But like Czech Republic, for instance, it hasn't been, it was like 60, I want to say 67. Fuck, I wish my internet worked so I could look it up. 60, because yeah, I mean, it used to be part of Czechoslovakia. And then, yeah, that whole like Soviet thing. I think, I want to say Czech Republic was like 67 or something, 68 when they like got their independence. And it might have been later actually. And in Czech, it wasn't like people were like crazy about everything, but it was like they were just following the rules. Okay, you have to, you have to show the pass, and I have to do it, and damn. Although I had a girl in one of the restaurants that I went in, she just said, "Hey, I'm obliged to ask you if you're vaccinated or have a negative test." She goes, you don't have to show me, but I have to ask. I said, oh, okay. And so I don't know if the rules in Czech are then if the police came, the person who's in there without it would get in trouble, or if the business, I don't know. I didn't care to look that much. But it was there, it felt like, and one of my buddies there is a cop, and he's having to enforce some of these things, and he thinks it's all bullshit too, but then it's just a dangerous fucking slope, man, of like, well, I'm just doing my job, and I talked to him about it, and he's like, yeah, I know, man, but like, I need money. It's like, I get it. But in Czech, it didn't seem so much like people were like really actually cared about it, like COVID. It was just they were following the protocol and the system, and this thing said, okay, we do it like this, which is just as dangerous, because that's how some crazy shit has happened in the past. But here in Portugal, it feels much more like people are fearful and people are scared. And I'm sure the news here, I mean, I think it's built into a Portuguese person to like be very worried and very pessimistic and slightly defeatist, from what I hear from Portuguese friends, speaking stereotypically. And so like I've had two people, because I mean, I went into IKEA up north in Portugal with no mask on. So I hate wearing the fucking mask. I'm not going to lie. And I mean, if you wore a new mask every single fucking time that you wore one, I think it'd probably help. But I bet 95% or 99.98% of people aren't doing that. And so, man, never do I feel more healthy than when I have a mask that's been in my pocket for the last week on my face, breathing in that. That's when I feel the most healthy in my life. And so I wear that motherfucker under my nose. It's okay, I'll play ball, but fuck you. But first up north, I went into IKEA without one, and I'm literally the only person in there. And I got like halfway through the store. I had all my stuff I needed to buy, and the guy was like, "Hey man, you need a mask." I was like, "I'm sorry, bro. I forgot it in the car. I'm just going to pay and leave." Okay, no worries. Well, and like the one dude, as I was paying at the self-checkout, I had to like sign, so I needed a guy to come over. And he's like, "Dude, you gotta have a mask on." I was like, "I know, bro. I'm sorry. I forgot it in the car. I'm leaving. I just had to come and get this real quick. I'm leaving." He's like, "All right, well, good luck getting by security." Like he didn't care really either. Just, again, part of the job. And again, that's just what's so fucking strange with all this, is no one really cares. It doesn't seem like, from the health standpoint, it's just the protocol. It's just the system. But then on the flip side, I guess I'm kind of contradicting myself, is here it seems like people do care. Because I was in the elevator and I had a random lady tell me put my thing above my nose. And you know how like you always think of the good shit to say after the moment's gone. And I'm disappointed in myself for kind of missing an opportunity to like. It's not like I want to give too much attitude, but I don't, in when I get to speak Portuguese, like I'm normally just friendly and like nice, and it's a good conversation. And again, I don't want conflict, but it would have been just good practice and something new. And I just wanted to be like, fucking, ¿quién es? Like, who are you? Like, I guess I got to learn how to say, like, worry about yourself. Preocupas sobre tu. I don't know. Because, and I've that's happened twice now in Portugal. And so, I don't know, dude. I'm because of that and some of, again, the like roboticness of people, I went from like, and I think like I'm reading the book, The Power of Now right now. Also still reading How I Found Freedom in an Unfree World. And then I also started a new book too called The Theory of Things or something. It's actually a cool book. And so much of our lives in The Power of Now, they talk about that we are like either reliving the past and thinking about the past and either being happy about that or sad about it, or then we're preoccupied with worrying about the future, and therefore we forget to actually be here in the now a lot of the time. And I am like incredibly fucking guilty of that. I've said countless times, whether it's just human nature, and then also like from the football side of things and coaching and being quarterback, where you analyze how it went last time in order to change and then you're thinking about how it's going to go in the future, and you get so caught up in watching film of the past and then game planning for the future that right now gets lost at times. And so, I think I've probably over romanticized my time here in Portugal when I was here, because looking back, I mean, I still just have nothing but good memories in my mind. But I think that's just how, I don't know, I guess I don't look back at anywhere I've like really lived and really think too negative. Even like North Dakota and places, Vasa, where like things didn't work out. I can look back, I remember the good shit more than I do remember the bad shit. But that kind of like, I don't know if it like fucks you up in a little bit, because then it creates this expectation of when you go back. And the first week, getting back in Lisbon, I'd been a little disappointed. Things are changing. I sound like an old man. I first went to my like favorite viewpoint spot called Panoramico do Monsanto. And it's like a old abandoned restaurant building, hella graffiti all over it. And when I lived here, back in my day, it was illegal to go into. It was all fenced off. There was a hole in the fence, but it was still illegal. Sometimes the cops would come. They'd tell you to leave. And, it was kind of dangerous. Broken glass everywhere. I'm sure some needle, actually, I don't think too many drug addicts went up there. That's quite a hike to get up there. But then there's been some parties up there, and it was fun. And now, I mean, the last time I was here 2 years ago, like they were slowly, like it was cleaned up, and it would be like open to the public, and then they'd actually close it. But now even more so 2 years later, it's like super cleaned up. You can't go to certain parts in it anymore. And like the top section was like the coolest fucking thing, where it's like a 360 kind of tower that you can see everything, all of Lisbon, all across the river. And that's not there anymore. You can't even go down to the basement anymore either. And so it was just like, as soon as I got there, I got slapped in the face like, times are a changing, motherfucker. And you know, the past relationships, the past friendships, the past whatever they were, like, they were great. But that's how they were. You know, and I think partly in my mind, and maybe this again is like why a little bit like disappointed at times, is like thinking, oh, when I return to a place that I used to live or have been before, it's going to be exactly like it was when I was there last. And the people are going to be similar and treat me the same, or you know, whatever it may be. When in reality, that's kind of like naive to think, because I'm not the same as I was the last time I was there. So then to expect it to be the same would be different also. And yeah, and then the second thing I noticed when I got back to Portugal was I went to, it's kind of like the Portuguese Starbucks, a Padaria Portuguesa. And when I lived here again 4 or 5 years ago, you could get the breakfast menu, which was fresh orange juice, like a croissant or like a small little sandwich kind of thing, and a coffee for €2.50. And now the breakfast menu is €3.50. And I was like, boy, times are a changing. But then on the flip side, some things don't change. I went to my cafe. I went to my cafe that was actually great. The second year I lived here, part of the reason I loved it so much was I was like truly a part of the neighborhood. I had a cafe I'd go to where only spoke Portuguese there. Sanjuk had his restaurant right down the street. I saw Sanjuk. He was like the first guy I saw too. I'll talk about that. Then there was another like corner store owned by Nepalese guys that I was all friends with. And that's where I'd like buy my fruit and my vegetables and stuff and my wine. And so I did kind of like a neighborhood. The first day I did like all the first year things that I did, kind of touristy things. I went to the Panoramico, and then I also went to this other viewpoint called Adamastor, which is like, it used to be like the kind of eclectic hippies hangout where there'd always be people drinking and smoking and someone playing music to sunset. And it's still kind of like that, but they built like a 4 or 5-star hotel right next to it. And so it's just kind of lost a little bit of its like grunginess. It's like true character. And so after those, and then I went to Padaria Portuguesa. And so like those three things, like back to back to back, I was like, fuck, this ain't the same Lisbon, man. But then the next day I did my like old neighborhood, my second year life thing. And that was pretty fucking much the same. Although Sanjuk doesn't have his restaurant there anymore, which kind of sucks. But I went to the cafe, spoke some Portuguese, talked some shit, with people walking in. It's like the ultimate kind of local cafe. And the guy who works there, Antonio, I don't know what the nice way he's probably like 45, 50 years old. And like, basically, like, anytime a cute girl would come in, like, his demeanor kind of all switches up. Like, he gets, like, real sweet and, like, not flirty in a creepy way or anything, but just, like, talks nicely. And so we're talking, And I was explaining, yeah, some things are different here and blah, blah, blah. And then this cute girl comes in, like, asks him for directions somewhere. Or no. That comes in and, like, she must come in often because he knew what she wanted. And so he asks her, oh, you want this and this? And she goes, yes. And he's, like, all happy, you know, and she's, like, happy. He remembers her order, and he's happy that she's happy. And so he, like, turns and, like, I think he had to grab a yogurt or something. And so he has to turn and, like, face away from her, but now he's facing me. And he just looks at me and just winks real quick. And, like, that was just how it was. And so he left, or when she left, I just looked at him and I said, algumas coisas nunca mudam, which some things never change in Portuguese. And he laughed, I laughed. But then again, same kind of thing. At a certain point, he asked me about vaccination. And it was like, as soon as I said, no, I don't have it, he, like, didn't really want to talk to me that much anymore. Kind of. Maybe I read into it wrong, but that's just kind of the impression I got. Ooh. Dope Volkswagen just pulled up from Germany. Nice. That's a fun thing to see all the different cars and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, Lisbon, I think now that I got my spot down here for being in Lisbon, my two spots that are, like, good location. This one is like one stop on the train into downtown. The other one would be like 4 or 5 stops from, like, a 10-15 minute walk on the metro. Because that's kind of like the stressful part about all this shit, the van stuff, that you don't realize until you're doing it. Because let me tell you, Instagram, I knew this before it, but now I really know. Boy, does Instagram romanticize van life to the maximum. And maybe some of these people live like this. I don't know how it's possible. But I've created I kind of hate myself for this. But I'm just completely contradicting myself continuously. You know, I say, well, I want to I want to get off social media, and I want to move away from it. Yet here I go and create, like, an account for the van. But to be fair, it's because I wanted to make sure I got the name for when I do want to get back into social media. Because I've named the van Oli, O-L-Y. I think, yeah, I mentioned this last episode. And it's a non-binary van. Sometimes it's a he, sometimes it's a she, sometimes it's an it, sometimes it's a they. Z's are Q, clur, kitten, whatever. But on that account, I follow van life stuff. And I guess it's kind of a way to, like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, man. Don't listen to me. And but I've seen a few people I follow there that are, like, Instagram influencer van life people, and that's cool. I'm, like, happy that they can do that. But I'll see a video every now and then, you know, like a TikTok, like, reel, where, like, a girl, you know, gets into the van, and the van is, like, completely perfectly fucking clean. Not a spot, not anything on the drawers or on the countertops. Just perfectly made bed, perfect fucking everything. And then she'll, you know, like, get in and eat this, like, meal that is just perfect. And I'm just like, oh, and, you know, like, looks to the sunset behind, you know, with the door open. And I'm like, oh, you fucking liars. You know, like, and I knew that before, but it just seeing some of those, I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. I can't. It's like hard to believe in a way. Oh, is that oh no, it's a T3. Yeah, man. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. But I've learned, for me, van life is just a lot about moving shit around and misplacing where you put things. And maybe I'll get better with like organization of stuff. And I need to get like a little more shelves or drawers or something. Like I bought some shelves in IKEA when I was in there and some things to like hang stuff, but I need a drill in order to do it, so I got to borrow that from somebody. But man, social media makes van life. And so I mean the reason I said that was like part of the difficulty in it, especially Portugal, because they've changed the laws, I guess, here in Portugal where like like camping in the car isn't allowed in a lot of places. Like they're trying to be capitalistic in a way and make it so you only can go to like camper places where they can get your money. You know, you have to pay $5-10 a night or whatever. So finding like free parking lots to stay in is tough and is a little bit stressful. So luckily I've found these two spots, and then where I stayed in Nazaré was fucking dope. It was like up on the top area, like top cliff, like a 15-minute walk down to where the big waves were. And then I also, another night I stayed in Peniche, which is a cool place, but the vibe was just so strange. It's like there's like no Portuguese people there. It's like all foreign people. And I stayed in a really cool parking lot that had, you know, some really dope van, like ultimate van life thing. But I kind of like I don't want to be a van life guy. I don't know. You know, I just want to be a guy that fucking lives in the van. You know what I'm saying? Like the van life thing to me, and maybe this is I'm projecting this, you know, but from what I see on Instagram and then some of the people I meet, it's like there's like just a little bit of phoniness to it. And I don't want that, and I don't want to be that. And maybe that's how I'm feeling, and so that's what I'm seeing. You know, it very well could be. But I don't know. Sometimes, like, I've met some really cool van life people, for lack of a better word, vanners. And then you meet some and you're just like, oh, there's like, I don't know. The one thing I will say is, and again, I'm probably projecting here, the van life people, in one way or another, everyone's like missing something. I think everyone's searching for something to a certain degree. And I know we all kind of are. And in a way, it's like brave and courageous, I think, of the van people, because they're like, fuck it, I'm going to go find that shit. But I just noticed, like, and again, maybe it's how I'm feeling, and so I'm projecting and seeing it. I know I said that like 5 times. But there's just something missing. We're searching for something. Who knows if we'll find it? The other thing that I forgot about Portugal is like every girl has a fat ass here. Holy fuck. Yeah. I don't have too much more to say after that, but boy. Although, and then I guess I do have a story to tell. That pretty funny one, actually, is on Halloween. I was in Poznan, Poland. It's actually a pretty cool city. I'd definitely like to go back there at some point. And I was kind of tired, but I'm like, man, it's Halloween. Let's go out. And pretty much every night I've gone out, yeah, because I had the party night in Estonia. I had the night in Lithuania, in Poland, in Poznan, in Chalon, France, San Sebastian, Spain, and I haven't had much of a crazy night in Portugal yet. But in Poland, Halloween, I'm like, fuck it. All right, I'm going to go out. I go to this bar. Seems kind of like the cool, hip bar. And I'm just sitting there having a beer at a table. And this really hot girl comes up to me and is like, in like shitty English. It's like, you want to smoke a cigarette? And I think like her English is bad, so she's just asking me for a cigarette. I say, yeah, sure, no problem. Here, you can have one. She's like, no. We go smoke together outside. And I'm like, oh, what? I mean, this girl is like Instagram model, fucking probably, I think she said she was 20 years old. And I'm like, why, listen, I know I'm fucking pretty dope, but I didn't expect that. So, all right, yeah, sure. Go out. I was going to go smoke one anyway. Go out, talking a little bit. Her English is bad. She's using Google Translate to like talk. And she's like funny and obviously good looking. And so like, okay, yeah. She's, oh, we're going to the club later. Me and my friends, do you want to come? I'm like, all right, yeah, sure. Like, I'm down for a little Halloween club Poland. Like, when I lived in Poland, I never went to the club because I hardly ever drank. So, yeah, sure. And obviously, I'm not going to lie and say this cute girl isn't like a reason to go to. But, in my mind, I'm like not thinking like anything's... Maybe I'm defending myself, but deep down, I really don't think anything. I just am like, it's going for the experience. So, all right, we go. And I can tell right away, like on our way, that like she's just using me to try and make someone jealous. And so I understand the assignment from the beginning. Like I know she's, because her friend had like a boy that she was with. So it's like I knew like she wasn't interested. I knew it wasn't going anywhere. But I'm just going along for the ride. And because as we're walking there, she's like putting me on her story. Here, put your tag thing. Okay. And so I can just tell she's trying to make somebody jealous. So we get to this club, and it's like it felt like Rush Hour 2. I don't know why, but I think in Rush Hour 2, there's like a crazy club party kind of thing that they're at. Felt like that. Like, I mean, lights, ceiling thing, big like 4-story, 3-story club. And she, at this point, like seems kind of into me. And again, I'm like, okay, like I can feel just something's up. But part of me is like, oh, all right, yeah, I'm fucking cool. Like I got this. And at some point in the night, maybe 1 a.m. or so, this one dude walks in. And I think this dude was famous or something. I don't know what this guy's deal was. He just had a thing, or at least he was famous in this club. Because it seemed just like people knew who the fuck this dude was. And as soon as he got there, this girl who was like giving me a lot of attention dropped me like I was so hot. And I did not exist anymore. And like I said, I kind of had that expectation going in. It also definitely hurt my feelings a little bit. But like, I was cool with it, like no hard feelings. I knew like I was a pawn in this like fucking hot girls game of life. And I was grateful that I ended up going to this club because it was a fun night. And so, I'm like hanging around, and so I'm getting ready to leave. And again, I told her, I was like, listen, like she's like thinking I'm mad. And she's also drunk. I'm pretty sure her and this dude are like doing blow in the bathroom. I think, hey, all power to her. And she's like, I think she thinks I'm mad at her for ditching me, which I'm really not. Like I said, might have hurt my feelings a little bit, but I get it. The problem was when we came together, there's a coat check, and we checked our coats together, which is a mistake number one by me. I should have read the defense. I should have seen that one. And so at this point, like, she's fucked up, coked out, and I keep trying to go up to her like, hey, I want to leave. Can I get the ticket? Can I go get my coat? I'll bring you the ticket back. And she doesn't really speak fucking good English, so this is not super easy to do. And then after a certain point, like, this dude who, I don't even explain the dude yet. This dude looks like a fucking extra from Jersey Shore. Yoked up, fucking stupid tatted up neck, I think face tattoos, zero lower body, fucking gym tan laundry dude to the maximum. Pretty good looking dude, I think, though. And so he's starting to get pissed that I keep what appears to be bothering her. And so he says something to me, and I try to explain to him, like, and he doesn't speak English, and he's like, nah, look. And so I'm like, fuck, dude, I don't want to get beat up, but I really like this jacket. I really want my jacket back. So I'm like, fuck, okay, how can I do this? So I get out Google Translator on my phone, and I type in, hey, bro, maybe this is a bitch move by me. Side note, I don't know. But again, I'm not trying to get beat up by fucking Ronnie Jr. from Poland shores, okay? I say, hey, bro, don't want any issues. My coat is with hers at the coat check. I just want to go home. And so, I want to get my coat and go home. I go up, tap him on the shoulder, show him the fucking message. He reads it. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, no problem. So then I tell her, like, it's good. Let me get the fucking ticket. She can't find it. She's searching through her purse. And now I'm like, she's like, here, look in my purse. And so now I look like some fucking weirdo searching through her fucking purse. And then at this point, now the guy's kind of like, well, dude, what the fuck, bro? And I'm like, dude, can't find it. So I'm like, fuck, dude, like, I want this jacket. So, and now it's like 3 a.m, 4 a.m. I'm like, I want to go home. And by home, I mean the van. So I walk down to the coat check and I plead my case. And I tell him, tell him a lie. I say, hey, bro, my girlfriend that I came with got really fucked up and she had to leave and she has the ticket in her pocket. Like, I can tell you what's on it. Can I please get it? And at first it was like they were kind of going to let me. And then the guy next to me like ends up kind of saying some same shit and going back and getting it himself. And so I'm like, okay, like, I'm about to do that. And then all of a sudden they just ignore me. And I'm like, hey, what's up? Like, ignoring me. I'm like, and so then I go up to this bouncer guy who's at kind of at the front entrance, and I say the same fucking story. And I'm like, bro, I was like, I got 10 euros. If I had more, I'd pay you more. And then I told him, I was like, it's the jacket my grandma gave me and she died earlier this month. Which, to be fair, it was a thrift shop jacket, so it might have been given to somebody by their grandma. Or it might have been a grandpa's. I think I might have said it was my grandpa's. I forget what I said. I was pretty fucked up at this point. And I just wanted that jacket back. And it was going to work with the bouncer. He was down, and I think I was going to give him 10 euros too. He's, just wait a minute, wait till it dies down a little. Okay, no worries. But now by this point, out of a certain time, she comes walking down with the dude. And so I'm sitting there just waiting. And she searches through her purse. I mean, she's fucked up at this point. And finds a ticket, gets the jacket. I go up to her. I'm like, please, just give me my jacket. I want nothing to do with you anymore. Just let me fucking leave. She gives me the jacket, and she like goes to kiss me goodnight. And I'm like, are you fucking crazy? And I could tell the whole time because, this whole time I'm like sort of like watching at times the interactions with her and this dude and like the friends of the dude. And like none of the friends of the dude wanted her to be like, it was such a weird thing. But she like goes to like kiss me. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, are you are you trying to get me killed right now? What are you trying to do? I already knew I was a pawn, but I just take the jacket. I'm like, all right, bye, and fucking leave. And but I'm so mad in a way because I wanted to get the jacket. Like, I wanted to pay the bouncer to get both of our jackets, and I was going to be fucking petty after that. And I was literally going to take her jacket, and I don't know if I was going to take it with me. I think drunk Joey was like pretty content on the first trash can I saw throwing her jacket away. Oh, yeah, that's for sure what I was thinking. I just didn't want to be that big of an asshole right off the bat and say it. So yeah, that night ended that way. And then this bitch at one point messaged me at like 5:30 or 6 in the morning. I'm sure after she got fucked or whatever. I was like, what are you doing? And like, I've been passed out for 3 hours now at that point. And I next morning just deleted that block. Got that one out. But it fucked with me a little bit. I'll admit that fucked with my confidence for maybe, I don't know, maybe it still has fucked with it. Because for a minute, boy, I thought I was the fucking bee's knees, bruh. And then to finish, I was fucking nobody. I was fucking, what's the opposite of the bee's knees? Fucking bee's elbows? Yeah, boy. Trying to think. What else? Had one other night in France. Chalon sur Soleil in France. And that was fun. Went to I think it was an Irish bar. Again, if you're ever in doubt in a new city or a new place you normally don't go to the Irish bar. That's just like a go-to easy one. And so I started there, and it was also like kind of a club in a way. I mean, it had a dance floor in the back that I didn't realize. And met a couple people. French people get the rap of being assholes. And to a degree, maybe they are. But in my experiences, French people have been driving through France. French people have been super nice and helpful. There was like one or two times one time at the gas station where like they weren't accepting my card and I couldn't figure out like what the fuck was going on. The guy behind me gets out of his car and like helps me out. The dude who worked at the bar was super nice. Like everybody that I came across with, so for the most part in France, was hella cool and friendly. And so the old, I don't know, Lloyd, the French are assholes. I couldn't really get on board with. But I think the reason they get that asshole reputation is because they're actually, I think, very similar to Americans. Like when I was in the bar in Chalon, it felt in certain ways like I was in the U.S. because you could tell like everybody's like super kind of self-conscious in a way and like kind of like judging everybody else. And I don't ever get that feeling in Finland. Well, Finland people just get so fucked up that there's just no judgment to be had. But, you know, like there's just like this feeling of like self-consciousness and comparison. And then on the other similarity with Americans is why they get considered to be assholes is more so because I think they get considered to be arrogant because a lot of French people only speak French. And so then if there's a issue or like someone is then speaking English, they are kind of embarrassed. And instead of like being friendly embarrassed, they like just shut it off. Because one of the girls who worked at this bar like didn't speak English. And I could tell she like wanted to be nice, but her go-to thing was like to just be a bitch. But I could tell like in French she was super nice. And so I think they get that rap from people outside of France a lot of the time because of that reasoning. But that's very similar to Americans because if like, you know, it's such a different thing, but if someone came into the US and was speaking Spanish or French or whatever, you know, at the place, at a bar, at a random bar, there'd be some people that are like, what the fuck, bitch? You know, and like be an asshole to them. Be like, no, English, motherfucker. You know, and there'd be some people that'd be super cool and some people that could speak Spanish or French and respond to them, but majority probably would be that way. And so, fuck, I don't know where I'm going with all this. To the 12 of you that are still listening. But overall, so the French night ends up meeting, I don't know, like I would just go outside, drink my beer, smoke a cigarette. I would definitely enjoy smoking a cigarette while I'm drinking a beer nowadays. Like, I like it a little bit too much. And I had like two girls hit on me, come up to me, say something, and then I guess I get to like the complete opposite. I get to be like the cute foreign guy who doesn't speak French and then kind of tries, and you know, and that, you know, again, boosting the confidence a little bit. But I end up, I don't know how it comes to be, start talking, maybe because one of the girls introduced me to like her guy friend or boyfriend, I'm not sure. You never know with French people. And so we're talking, and I think I explained I'm going to Portugal or something, and another guy overheard me. He's like, oh, I'm Portuguese. And so then we start speaking Portuguese to each other, and this dude was 100% Portuguese but had lived in France his whole life, so his English sucked. And so me and this dude became like homies for the night and only spoke Portuguese. And I think that's, we ended up going to another club after that, and it was cool. And again, just like the ultimate craziness of like having to show a Vax pass to get in somewhere. And then when you're inside, you're just like a can of sardines. It's like, what are we doing? What? But that night was super fun. I got nothing bad to say about France in that regard. Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll call it a day. I'm tired. Hey, got Black Friday sales for the website www.livingforaliving.com. livingforaliving.live. Almost fucked up my own website. Use code Black Friday, all caps, no space, for 15% off any order. And you know that shit comes with free shipping. So help your boy out. The gas tank needs to fill up. Alrighty. Until next time. Peace and much love. Holla.